Welcome to As the Chakras Spin, a podcast that connects life's experiences as they relate to the seven major chakras physically, emotionally, mentally, financially, and spiritually. I am your host, Tashi K.D. Cooper.
Peace and light, everyone. My name is Tashi K. D. Cooper, and I am the vibrational midwife, aka Reiki Woman. Yeah. All right, you guys. So we are back with another episode of As the Chakras Spin. And today we are going to be looking at the crown chakra. For those of you who are new to energy and chakras, there will be a link in the description that will provide a general overview of what energy and chakras are just in general, okay? All right, so the crown chakra is located at the top of the head. It points up towards the heavens. In today's books, the color is violet. But if you've been following me, you know I've been doing this since the late 80s. And so I resonate with the color white, hence my head wrap, okay? Whatever color resonates with you, go with that for the crown chakra, okay? Body parts associated with the crown chakra is the central nervous system, which will be your brain and your spinal cord, okay? And the pineal gland. Qualities associated with the crown chakra would be being one with all, seeing yourself and others, alignment with your higher self. Wisdom lives here, grace lives here, inspiration lives here. So just know that the lists are not exhaustive. There may be more body parts, there may be more qualities, but I'm gonna leave it here for now, okay? If you're watching, you're wondering who's the queen on screen with me, right? Yes. Well, her name is Aluna Toni Hector, and she is a third generation fashion designer, textile artist, traditional West African dancer, and mother of three. Having traveled and studied throughout Senegal, Ghana, the Gambia, Togo, Benin, and Nigeria, she draws inspiration from the rich cultural traditions of West Africa. Through dance, fashion, and cultural education, Toni is dedicated to reconnecting Black American adults and children with their African roots, fostering pride, knowledge, and a deeper connection to ancestral heritage. I want you guys to put your hands together for this queen, Aluna Toni Hector. Woo! Thank you so much, Aluna, for being a guest on As the Chakras Spin.
Okay, I'm happy. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, yes. So I like to just get straight to it, okay? So, audience,
Okay.
I don't really remember ever formally meeting my guests. I feel like, Aluna, I saw you in New York around Mighty Boss's African dance conferences a couple of years between 2002 and 2004 before I moved to Atlanta in 2004. I would just see you kind of like in class. I would see you at the conference and then I would see you in the local classes, you know?
Yes.
And I was fairly new to the dance community and always paid attention to those who understood the language of Sabar. Okay, so audience, Sabar is an African dance style from Senegal. It's my favorite style of dance. And I would zoom in on people who could do it well. And I noticed you.
Okay.
Yeah, back in the day, I noticed your style of dance and I would watch you as you dance. And now, honestly, as I'm older and I'm more centered and in tune, like spiritually, I probably was recognizing your light as well and just your energy. You know what I mean?
Right.
in addition to you knowing the dance.
Well,
um,
I wouldn't say knowing, but I would say that the Sabar from Senegal, which is their traditional dance, is my
yes.
favorite of all of them.
Yeah, okay. Well, it showed in your movement how it felt in your body. I felt like it showed.
Yes, it's my favorite of all of them.
Yes, me too. Me too. So then I only observed you as a dancer, okay, in the class. I only observed you as a dancer back then. It wasn't until I moved to Atlanta and went to an African dance conference there that I saw that you sold clothes,
Mm-hmm.
cute, funky type clothes, right? And what really caught my attention that time was that you had your sewing machine set up and you were actively sewing. I thought that was just so dope, so cool. Like you saw everything happening.
Yeah.
That was so dope to me. And still is, and that's why I invited you today. I want to just dive into your gift. So fast forward to 2017 ish. I still don't know her audience, but at some point I connected with her and admired her designs on Facebook. And shortly after that, I purchased my first item, a beautiful denim patchwork skirt. I don't have it with me to show, but I am wearing one of
Your
her
top, I
blouses.
see.
Yes. And I did bring
Oh, yeah,
this
your hat.
hat that I purchased from her as well. Yes. Ah! Okay. All right. And so, audience, her style and designs are so unique and soulful. She makes patchwork sneaker boots, purses, hats, dresses, skirts, refurbished jeans, shorts, and sweatshirts and hoodies with a twist
So
and
much.
more.
Yeah,
Okay.
so much stuff.
She attains her fabric from different countries in Africa, as well as hosts group trips for others to explore and witness the beauty of the motherland. Today, we will look at the qualities of knowingness, seeing self in others, higher self alignment, inspiration, and wisdom. Okay? So, in a conversation, Tony, you said that you are your mother and grandmother's dream come true as it pertains to your clothing line. I
Yeah.
have a multi part question. How old were you when you learned how to sew one? And two, did you learn from both of them, or were they just inspiration and you learned a different way?
Well, I mostly learned from my mom. My grandmother gave me little things here and there, talking about it, and and things like that. But my mom, I would have to say, was the hands-on person that, you know, was the hands-on person with the sewing. Because
Okay.
she had me most of the time. And when I
Okay.
became very interested in sewing, like, so I've been around it since a very small child, but
Yes.
being actively involved, I would have to say it would have to be 10 or 11. 10 or
Okay,
11,
that's
yeah.
pretty young.
Yeah, and
Yes.
so my mother had a upholstery business too, and my sister doesn't sew, but I was at her house one time and I saw a chair that she had upholstered,
Okay.
and I was saying to myself, well, she did pay attention to something. 'Cause, you
Right,
know,
right.
yeah, so yeah, but she can upholster, but yeah, she had and that's sewing too.
Right.
You upholster, you have to know how to sew something. But yes, my grandmother worked for Sears and Roebuck as a seamstress that uh mostly did altering. You know,
Yeah.
it's I consider that to be boring. I don't alter anything other than my own thing.
Okay.
But I consider that to be boring. But I do know that they both had joy in doing sewing projects outside of, Sears and Roebuck. I know she enjoyed doing, sewing dresses and different things. But my mother always says that back in her day, you had to know how to sew if you wanted some clothes.
Okay.
So,
Makes
I
sense.
would say both of them definitely gave me some lessons, but my mother majority is the one that taught me and inspired me on sewing.
Okay. And did your grandmother teach your mother?
Of course, that's how she learned.
Okay.
Of
Okay.
course, uh-huh.
And did your grandmother sew for others outside of Sears and Roebuck, or just
Well,
mostly there?
it's to my understanding that she didn't really have time to do that. Once she
Okay.
came from work, um, it was the work at home. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Cleaning and
Yes.
cooking. And my grandmother had other children that she was taking care of too. We had a couple people in the family that that my grandmother had to step in as a parent for their I know it was a one son, but
Sure.
one of my cousins that lived with her until he was an adult. So she really didn't have the time, to really, really, really do it. But I know she made dresses and different things from time to time. But
Okay.
she also gardened and um, cooked, and she had a nice garden, and but she sewed every day at
I
work.
love that.
Yeah, so what she did at work, I consider that to be boring. But
I
that's why I
got you.
always say I'm their wildest dreams, because I get to do it on terms that they didn't have the option to do. You know,
Sure. And I
my
love that you said that she worked in the garden. So and this is just my assumption based upon the chakras, the root chakra is for grounding, and usually to help get you out of your head, you do things with your hands. And
yes,
so would you say that she was a pretty grounded individual?
my grandmother or my mother.
Your grandmother, because you said
Oh
she used
yeah,
to work in the garden,
yeah.
right?
She had a garden. She had fig trees and all kind of things that she grew. That we
Sure.
ate. So yeah, I would I would say that she liked to do that. And
Sure.
my family they're sharecroppers.
Okay.
So th- um they knew, that also came with them from Africa, but basically that's what they did. My mother had a garden too, and she knows how to grow food, and she knew how to
Okay.
grow food too. They could grow
Yeah.
anything.
Sure.
My mother once told me that her grandmother came home one day and got all her grandchildren together, which
Okay.
was her and her cousins, and gave them a silver dollar and told them that this was their last day, her last day being a sharecropper. So and that she gave them that coin to mark that her word, that this was her last day being a sharecropper. Because you do
Okay.
all that work and you don't have anything. You
Sure.
barely can feed yourself. You know,
Sure.
so that is, 'cause that's what they were sharecroppers. They farmed.
Yeah.
They farmed the
Oh,
land. So when my mother said you had to know how to sew, and she said that sewing with the machine, that was a luxury.
yeah.
That was a luxury because they made dresses and stuff by hand. You know,
I love that. I
so
love that. I have another question, but before I ask that, You want to tell us about the picture you're holding?
Okay, I'm just bringing my ancestors into my interview.
Yeah.
Um, so this is my grandmother right here. Her name
Okay.
is Mercedes, or however you want to say it, Mercedes. But they called
Okay.
her Des or Aunt Des. I called her Grandmommy.
Okay.
This is my mother. Her name is Sandy. This is the one who taught me how to sew the most.
Okay.
These are my two grandmother's sisters. This is my Aunt Tatty. Her name was Sally, but we called her Aunt Tatty. And she had 6 fingers.
Oh.
Okay, and she could see things that uh she could see things. You
Yes.
know.
Her
That's
third
all
eye was open.
about, yeah, her third eye was open.
Okay.
And very open. And she was
Okay.
the one who taught me how to cook. The bases of gumbo, and which is the roux, which they use for
Yes.
chicken fricassee, and they use for gumbo, and they use for the shrimp with the different shrimp dishes. And this is
Yeah.
my grandmother's. I want to say this is her older sister, and her name was
Okay.
my mom. She died a long when I was maybe about 10 or 11. I
Okay.
remember she had passed away at that time. And I just remember one of the largest family gatherings that I had ever experienced at her funeral.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
So yeah,
thank you.
and so these people are on my ancestor altar. I try to include them because they're the they're the inspiration for everything I do today, even with cooking and stuff. Because I like to cook too. So
Okay.
even though I'm trying to get away from cooking, my daughters don't let me, but I'm trying to because as you get older, it shows on the body. My God.
Oh, because eating it, right?
Yes, and then I like to dance the sabar, and that's up, and when
Yes.
your legs are big, that's like get back down here. You can't really jump.
That's funny.
Yes.
That's funny. The question that I had was, did your mother sew from patterns or did she make her own? Or both?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause when you learn how to sew like she did, you can cut your pattern yourself, and
Yeah.
you can sew from patterns. So both of them, you know.
Okay. Okay. And was it a hobby of hers or it was also generating income for the household as well?
No, it was for her. She loved to sew. She just,
Okay.
with life, having children and stuff, she couldn't really dedicate as much time to it as she wanted to. But she
Okay.
loved to sew. I remember as a young girl, her buying a new sewing machine and having to sneak it in the house or hide it from my dad at one point. So I know
Okay.
that I don't know if it was money, you know, or my dad says that it was she was always buying stuff, but um, but I don't know if it was money or why cuz she worked too. So I don't know why she had to
To
sneak it in the
sneak
house.
it.
But I
Okay.
just remember her buying a new one when she already had one, and she said that she was going to sneak it in the house because she didn't want my dad to say anything to her about it. But it was a hobby of hers, and I used to dance on the drill team when I was a teenager, and
Mm-hmm.
she made those kind of things, cheerleading, you know,
Uniforms?
yes, little basic stuff like that, like something like that I would need, something like that. But they did have a business as a with the upholstery for a long
Okay.
time. Yeah, and then I don't know, I can't remember how that faded out. So she was using it as a business. But at that same time, they were both working. My parents, they had jobs
Okay.
and stuff too. So that was, I guess, maybe a side business or something that they was doing. But I know that that is something that's why I always say I'm their dream, because
Yes.
doing it full time, you know,
I
I'm
love that.
time, even though I work sometimes. I was just telling my boss yesterday that, I'm on call in. I had to remind him, that I'm on call in, that I do this. This is what I'm doing with you for extra money, not because I have my own business. So I had to
Sure.
remind him just yesterday.
What it is.
Yes,
Right.
yes. So
Okay.
that's why I say I'm really doing it on the level that I feel like they probably would have wanted to do it, because they both love to sew,
Okay.
And me, I
Yeah.
love to sew. It's not, I don't, it's the money, yes, is coming, but I love to sew.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love to sew.
Okay. So, a quality of the crown chakra is knowingness, one of the qualities. It's like having an internal compass that, according to my belief system, is derived from being in alignment with your higher self. So, most people who are in alignment with their higher self are usually on path, living their purpose. Do you see your work? And I think I know the answer. Do you see your work as a designer, curator, artist, buyer, seamstress, etc., as being on path, purpose filled, and why?
Yeah, I do. I feel like I feel like it's my purpose, that what I'm doing in my life, because we all have a purpose in life. I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay.
Now, do I always feel like I'm in a I'm I could I always struggle with feeling like I should be doing more. I
Okay.
do struggle with that. Like, I go back and forth sometimes about, like, am I being lazy? You know what I'm saying? Um, but I always feel like I should be doing more. But I definitely feel like um, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I can't even
Okay.
tell you. I can't even count how many times I've just been out there on faith. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
All my children that are adults now, my last one is 19. I've
Okay.
basically raised them doing what I'm doing. you
Yes.
know so
I
yes,
love that.
I feel like that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. My dad recently told me, when I was complaining about being copied or stolen from, because I feel like, somebody steal your designs or whatever, and try to reproduce them or and sell them without you you
Yeah.
know and I feel like that's stealing. But when I was telling my dad, who's 96, he said, uh well, somebody, if you're doing something that somebody wants to copy, you're good. You're doing good,
Yeah.
because look at all the people that's out there trying to do anything. He said what you should be worried about is somebody not trying to copy you. So he was just basically saying that
I feel it.
you're on the right path if somebody is trying to copy you.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Absolutely. I
yeah.
get that.
So yeah, so because I was feeling kind of bad about that, because I was feeling kind of bad because I work really hard about my designs. They're like my babies, you know.
Sure.
But he was like, "You better, somebody want to copy you, then you're doing good."
Yes, I love
So
that. And I concur.
okay,
You're
so
doing
he said,
awesome.
he kind of reiterated that you're on the right path if somebody's trying to copy you. He said
Yes.
you're not on the right path if nobody's trying to copy you, if nobody's even looking at what you're doing.
I feel him
So
on that.
yeah, and so
Yes.
yeah,
Okay. And so, continuing with the quality knowing, in addition to being in alignment with your higher self, I feel like your third eye is open too, because the items I purchased from you that you made from scratch totally matched my energy. And
Okay.
audience, I need to reiterate that though I saw her in dance classes back in the early 2000s, she didn't know me from Adam when I finally called her over a decade later asking her to make me a skirt. We had a conversation, and when I tell you that the products that I have received from her not only fit me perfectly physically, but energetically as well. And I appreciate that. And that's why I think that your third eye is open too. So, Aluna, would you agree in some cases that your third eye is open? And have any of your customers said things like, you made this just for me? Did you know that? Or how did you know what colors to use or prints to use?
Okay. Well, I feel like my third eye is open on that level because I make what I feel. And sometimes I say, oh, when somebody like walks into my booth and they try on something, I was like, oh, that was perfect for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
I'm always at awe about how I can make something, and then the person that it fits perfectly on walks in or get ends up with it. So
Okay.
I can. That's kind of like in reverse of what you're saying, but yeah, I I have that. I feel like I can. I just make. I feel like I always say that my creativity is ancestral. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? I say
Yes.
that the things that I see in my head and I want to manifest or that I'm creating. I feel like I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I feel like they make themselves. Like I've started making these long
Say
jackets.
it.
Yeah, I've started making these long jackets, and every time I make one, it's gone. And but I feel like they make themselves almost. You know, like it's like a trance or something. You know,
Yes.
you
And
know.
that's why I don't know if you remember me saying this when I called you to ask if you'd be a guest. I just kind of I felt that from you, and I felt that alignment. And you said that you received help from the ancestors. So like you bringing in your grandmother and great aunts and your mother, I feel like they are with you along with some
Oh,
other folks in your tribe making those garments as well.
yes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm their dream. Anytime I go out to a show, I stop by my little altar and include them in it. Because sometimes you can't take everything. So what I do
Sure.
is I ask them, what should I take for this event?
I love that.
And I end up coming back with nothing or mostly everything is gone. Like, cause with clothes, sometimes when you're traveling, unless I'm driving, like when I'm driving somewhere, I can pack everything. You know what
Sure.
I'm saying? But if I'm flying, I'm allowed, depending on where I'm going, sometimes it's one bag and a garment rack, or it's two bags because I have somebody with a garment bag rack there. So I always just ask the universe, my ancestors, what should I bring? What
Yes.
help me decide on what to bring. So I really say it's ancestral, spiritual. I'm definitely, I'm definitely tapped into all the traditional of everything, African tradition, African American, all of the traditional culture and spiritualness of black people. you
Okay.
know my friend Rochelle calls it mojo or Congo. That's what she
Yes.
calls it, Congo. But yes, I definitely feel like it's a third eye or a higher seeing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
A higher seeing. You know, a higher knowing. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, I know this fabric is going to be fabulous. Sometimes I buy things and I that I like, and I don't know yet how I'm gonna use it. And like things
Yeah.
sit up for a year or 2 years, and then it comes to
Sure.
me. It comes to me like it just comes to me like I liked it, and I said, "Oh, I'm gonna get this," but I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet. But
Yes.
I've had things sit up for 2 years, and then it just comes to me overnight, and then I'm like, "Oh, that's what it is." You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And then it's
Yes.
a hit. Like you know, a couple things I'm talking about, they've been a hit ever since. So
Yes.
you know, I really feel like it's a third eye, or you know, and I
Yeah.
work to I do things to keep my third eye open. Like I don't use fluoride toothpaste, and you know, I'm actively I want my third eye to be open, even though
Yeah.
even though your third eye being open is like a blessing and a curse. You know what I'm saying? Because
Absolutely. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Because
I do. Because
you can get
I do readings. I'm a seer, and there's some things it's challenging to see. You
yeah.
don't want to see it.
Because you
So
can
yeah.
see the true. You can see the true. And sometimes you be like, oh, I didn't want that to be true about them. You know,
Yeah.
or about
Yeah.
that. Or, you know, it's a
And you
blessing
can't,
and a
and
curse.
like once you see, you can't unsee it. So
Can't unsee it. You know what I'm saying? You
yeah.
can't unsee it. You know,
Yeah.
and yeah, so that is it's a blessing and a curse. So I'm just trying to, and that's why I have to. You know, I've noticed that I've been. You know, I go out and do my little fitness classes that I like to do, and
Hmm.
I come home, and every day I like to be in my space, and you know, I keep the TVs off as much as possible.
Yeah.
um you know, I just try to, you know, just try to protect myself, because you know, with
Sure.
your third eye is open, you're you're affected.
Oh
You're
yes.
affected. You know,
Yeah.
you're affected. You know, I'm
And
affected
you're
by
a
things.
portal, and so you want to be
Yes,
mindful of what's coming through too. So you
yes,
want to make. I feel like you want your vessel to be in balance and healthy, because
yes.
that will help bring things through as well. Because you're definitely a
Hmm.
portal if you're seeing stuff.
Yes. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely feel like my
Oh,
third eye is open. Definitely.
yes. Okay. And so, like, another quality of the crown chakra is seeing yourself in others. So typically, in this case, it refers to being non-judgmental, macrocosmically acknowledging, like, by the grace of God, there go I. However, when I thought about this concept microcosmically as it pertains to your line of clothing, I thought and feel that you are creating clothing that not only illustrates your authenticity, femininity, funk,
Hmm.
colorfulness as a person and designer, but the reflected boldness and beauty mirrored between you and your tribe of customers as well. So, with
Hmm.
that being said, do you have a concept in mind that you create and then you sell it? Hear me out. Do you make the concept for yourself first, wear it, and then offer it as an option to sell based upon people's responses, or a little bit of both? Or you just create it and you just be like, this is what it is?
Hmm. I could say that maybe both. You know, I started
Okay.
making like I like jeans. So I like jeans, you know, so I started with them, making them for myself. You know, and I
Okay.
like them in a way, you know, my first trip to Africa, in the 90s. I have to be saying how old I am, but in the 90s, um, my first trip, I was so impressed with the clothing and just how the African people on the continent dress. But being a Black American, I
Okay.
like t-shirts. I like my jeans to fit snug. I want to wear my stack heels or my
Mm-hmm.
heels. I'm a Black American. It's too much fabric for me, but I did like the fabrics. But
Sure.
it's just too
Yes.
covered up.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just too much. I don't even see how they do it in all that heat with them boobas, but they be working them. But um,
They do.
so I started creating mainly for myself first. That's how it started.
Okay.
I started making stuff for myself, and then I
Okay. That's what I
started,
was thinking.
yeah, and then I started, you know, popping up at different places, doing, selling my things and stuff. People always were complimenting me on my designs and stuff. So, yeah, I would say I
Will people
started for
will people
myself.
stop you and be like, "Where did you get that?"
Yes, all the time. And or they say, "Oh, I really like that." Yeah, so I would say that I started making them for myself, and I say it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. But
Okay.
everything that I make right now, um, I like to wear. So I like to wear it. I just started making it in a way that I would like to wear it. And with
Yeah.
working with the youth, working with the youth, I really, I really saw how uh, the youth are attracted to my designs. You know what I'm saying? I see
Okay.
how it makes them, gives them a sense of pride and self esteem. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Just to see that things that they like to wear, like hoodies and, you know,
Yeah.
can be, can be funky and cultural, and
Mm-hmm.
still be cool,
Sure.
so yes. And so I've been, I've been doing it a long time. So I've been doing this a long time. So I know
Right.
that I've inspired the whole series of this whole style, because
Yes.
I have
Oh,
a,
yes, indeed.
yeah, because I have two granddaughters. So, I know that when I started doing it, nobody was doing it on my
No.
level. You know what
No.
I'm saying? And
No.
at that time I started doing it, I was going all around. So I know that created a trend, So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me ask you this. Has there ever been a piece that you decided to retire? Like you just said, you know what, I'm not going to make this anymore?
um not really. Not really. I
Okay.
mean, not really.
Like,
What I've
like you're just going
started
to keep it
doing
for
is,
yourself?
well, what I've started doing with that is I have a Senegalese tailor that helps me every Saturday, and Mama
Okay.
Rochelle also helps me. She's not only my friend but my employee.
I love it.
So
Yes.
she helps me sew too. So what's not fun for me is uh is to reproduce the same thing over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? That's
Okay.
not fun for me. So I came to an understanding with that, and so now I have help with the stuff that people want. Even though it's still every item is different because you can't make the same thing, but to make,
Yeah.
like, to say for instance, like I make hoodies that I sell all the time, and even though they're all different, I don't
Yeah.
want to make 20, 30 hoodies.
I
you
got
know
you.
I want to do a different kind of hoodie, or my ideas. I have so many ideas that I want to just keep it moving. So I've understood that, and I've gotten help with that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, so
Okay.
I don't really have anything that I've retired. I call them signature pieces. You know,
Yes.
so I try to make everything. And I try to tell people like, now it's some things that you might can't get again, depending on how it looks. Like, sometimes people like the certain fabric,
Yeah.
so,
Right.
I would say, yeah, I retire fabrics. When it's gone, it's gone. So
Sure.
if you
That
want
makes
this
sense.
color or how this one hangs, that has to do with the material. So I do have things
Yeah.
that when it's gone, it's gone. That's it. So,
Okay.
but yeah, so I do have things that are one of a kind or a few of a kind.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
I
not
like that, a few
anything.
of a kind.
Yeah, but not anything where I retire making.
Got
I
it.
have things that I prefer to make more than others, though. So
I got you.
yeah,
Sure. Sure.
yeah.
So, being aligned with your higher self helps you to see the big picture, which is also a third eye quality, seeing the
Ah,
big picture. And the material you use isn't from just any fabric store. So upon your comfort level, because I don't want you to share any trade secrets, will you please talk about the places you visit to purchase your fabrics and the group trips you host
yes.
along with the experiences and excursions people can look forward to when they attend your trips?
Well, yeah. So I buy fabric everywhere. I just recently did a trip to Thailand, and I was
I've
so
heard that.
blown away. Thailand is like a hub for. They had so many different fabrics over there. I met some people from India. I'm going to India next, but Pakistan.
Ooh, yes.
eh, And when you love fabric, it's just mind blowing with all the different options that you have. But yes, I my favorite place to buy fabric right now is Benin first, and then
Okay.
Nigeria right now.
Okay. Okay.
But
Yeah.
it also depends too on what I'm doing. Like for my hoodies, I can only source the materials from Senegal because they each country have its own uh thing, its own thing. So the patchwork from Senegal looks completely different from the patchwork from Ghana.
Okay.
You know, it's completely two different things. And the Senegalese are the top of the line sewers.
Ooh, okay.
They're the top of the line. They're the ones that sew for Donna Karen and Versace and all of them, the Senegalese.
Okay. I didn't know
And
that.
yeah, they're the top of the line.
Wow.
Now,
Okay.
yes. Now, I can't speak on Nigeria, but
Uh-huh.
I did have some wonderful experiences with different tailors in Nigeria. But the Senegalese, I haven't met anybody that topped them yet with the tailor.
Okay.
Senegal got some really really tight tailoring, tight.
I love that.
So yeah, and their thing is different. So every country is different. So I would say that's why I do like my trips are like multi country. So like when I do Ghana, you can also go to Togo and Benin in that same trip.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So and then depend, yeah. So and then sometimes if you have time, you can do Nigeria too, because in Ghana they're all along the coast. So you can
Sure.
go from each one in 2 hours. If you're going by car. And you
And
can,
is Are the trips centered around, I guess, purchasing fabrics, or are you doing
Yeah,
other
well, we
activities as
do all.
well?
Well, what we do is it's a combination because most people that travel are shopping too. So
Sure.
I take them where they can get clothes made. They can buy fabric. We do textile classes. We batik. We tie dye. They
Ooh.
learn. The Benin people in Benin are very good with. They're the applique kings and queens. You know where the woman king was based out of. You know
Okay. Yeah.
the Dahomey.
Yeah.
Those people are the top of the line with appliques. Oh my
Mm.
God! You know what an applique is, right?
Yes.
They're
Yes.
the they're the they're the top of the line.
Well, do you want to describe it for the audience in case someone doesn't know?
Yes, an applique is I'm trying to see if I got one up here, but I don't. But let me see. It's this is okay, so this is an applique. So this one is from Senegal though. It's in Africa. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
when the Benin people do it, they can do stuff like this. I don't know if you can see, this is a statue of a mermaid. But they can do a
Oh, okay.
mermaid.
I can't see it that.
Yes, their applique, I don't have any right now with me in front of me, but their applique technique is just next level. It's like they can do
Sure.
people, they can write, it's just next level. So, with my trips, you get to even do all of that. We batik, we do Andinkra symbols, stamping, any kind of textile designs. It's a
Yeah.
class for that. We also dance. We also cook. We have a language lesson. We go to the waterfalls. We do all the tourist stuff. But I like to call my trips comfortable local,
Okay.
which means that you're not in a place where you're not gonna be in the tourists. You're gonna get to see some traditional stuff.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Good.
saying? Traditional, like you're gonna get to see. With me, you'll definitely be around mud huts. You know what I'm saying? But
I
you'll be
love that.
living right. But you'll definitely be staying in a comfortable location. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But
Yeah.
but you get to see some of the traditional stuff that you want to see when you want to come to Africa. You know what I'm saying? That's why I
Sure.
say that anybody that hasn't been in Africa, now it's time to go because it's drastically, the foot is being lifted off of Africa right now, and they're developing really rapidly. So some things that we saw in the 90s, you're not going to be
Yeah.
able to see, coming in the next few years. They're putting in
Sure.
freeways and subways and all kind of stuff right now. So it's
Whoa.
drastic,
Okay.
drastically. Even Benin, they do a thing called, they have a voodoo festival every year.
Uh-huh.
And in the last 3 years, they have upgraded their whole city, to a
Okay.
level, to a level where, you know, you would, that being able to see like a village where you would think when you say village, you know what I'm saying? That you would think that it looked like, a village would
Uh-huh.
look like an African village.
Yes.
All of that's drastically changing real fast.
Okay.
So
Okay.
for with my trips, those are the things that I specialize on. You'll be able to be on a local level where you'll be with some real locals, where you're not
Mm-hmm.
standing around, in like a tourist location being haggled and that type of thing. You get to
Yeah.
traditional stuff and still have a comfortable experience.
I
You
love
know,
that.
and then when I do Senegal and Gambia. And we do all of that kind of stuff, cooking, walking with the lions, any kind of little thing that's shows the actual and supports the people, because I do a lot
Sure.
of things that put money in local people's, helps the economy on a real level, you know.
Yes.
Because you could go into Africa and pay all of these absorbent visa fees and all this kind of thing, and then none of that money trickles down to the locals. Like right now, it's
Right.
raining in Ghana. They're flooded in certain areas. You know, but eventually all of that's going to change too, and it's just they're they're advancing very rapidly. Which is a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a
It's a
good.
good thing, but then we're gonna people that want to visit and see and experience some of the history, the origin of things, we're not going to be able to experience it, is what you're saying.
Well, you'll be able. A lot of countries like Benin, they're preserving their
Okay.
things like that. Like Benin embraces their voodoo culture. You see,
Okay.
they embrace it because they have a big voodoo festival. And then you look at countries like Ghana and Nigeria who don't. They don't embrace their traditional culture. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying?
Okay.
They are more, Christianized and pushing those things away. So some areas some things you won't be able to see again.
I
But
got you.
and some things you will. Like in Nigeria, they have the Oshun River and the secret garden over there. All of that's
I've heard of
beautiful,
it.
and all of that will still be there because they're working very hard to preserve it. And
Preserve
Ile
it.
Ife and all of those places there. They're working very hard to preserve it. But like stuff like village life and a lot of that, you know, things are changing. Where.
Sure. Okay. Okay. So
Hmm.
the last two qualities I want to look at are inspiration and wisdom. First, what is your inspiration? Is there something outside of you that helps keep you going, or does it all come from within?
Well, my inspiration, I feel too, is my community. Like my African, I always say my African dance community is my inspiration because I love African drumming and dance. That's
Yeah.
like, I love that. And
Yeah.
it's part of
Yeah.
my life. And the Sabar is really my utmost favorite, of all.
Yes.
I'm even trying to, right now, figure out how to get down into Ohio to take a Sabar class with a teacher that I want to do like tomorrow. I'm trying to get on
Okay.
and go there. Um, so I
I
feel
love
like
that.
the culture, my African dance family, because those people, a lot of them are my supporters. I just came from New York and I did very well at the conference I was just at. Um,
Sure.
yeah, I feel like they're my muse, and also I want to say, I came up in the hip hop era.
Okay.
I went
Yeah.
to UCLA. Um, I came up in the NWA, Public Enemy,
Mm-hmm.
MC Light. Um, and so I like rap music.
Yeah.
I came up I came up in that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
When that was popular, when it became popular, Run DMC, you know, LL Cool J, you know, I remember because I was a teen mom, my oldest daughter, I was a teenager when I had her. I remember taking her to see LL Cool J, Salt and Pepper, and
Yes.
Run DMC. I remember I could didn't have a babysitter, and I remember taking her with me as a
Okay.
2 or 3 year old.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like
That's
that
my era
too.
too. I love all of those people.
Yes. So rap music to me, I can get into it. You know what I'm saying? Now, not the, I'm gonna say hip hop. I'm not gonna say rap, but hip hop as it used to
Right.
be and how it pertains today. Because I like Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? I listen to his new stuff and his old stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And because Jay-Z is my age. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I would say too that I'm inspired by that too. You
Okay.
know, I'm inspired
Yeah.
by I would say that hip hop inspires me too. And I would say
Wow.
that African dance and the culture inspires me, and black people
Yeah.
inspire me. Seeing, because I travel all over, and I'm very observant. People inspire me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just people.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So just their makeup, and I remember I was in Senegal, and the Kenyan Airways, the flight crew,
Yeah.
baby, when they came in, they had on some. Their uniforms was like Afrocentric. The pilot, the whole crew was black, and
Okay.
they just was. My mouth was open, and I'm just in the airport, and they were the
Right.
Kenyan air crew. They were going to their plane. The Kenyan,
Yeah.
it was the flight attendants and the pilots, and they
Yeah.
were all African, and they had their whole
I love it.
uniform was
Yeah.
Kenyan. It was like it was
Yeah.
beautiful. I was inspired by that. I said, I'm going to Kenya because I want some of that fabric. Just that
Yeah.
whole print, how they had it in, and it was the cut is European somewhat. It's like a European African blend
Yeah. Okay.
cut, but the fabrics was Kenyan.
Yes.
They were beautiful. They
I'm
inspired me.
sure.
They
I'm
inspired me.
sure.
So I'm inspired every day. You know what I'm saying? I'm inspired
Yes.
every day.
And
I
see,
get
that's that alignment with the higher self. Inspiration, because some people don't get inspired,
yeah,
especially from within. Some people don't even get inspired from people from things outside of themselves. They're just not inspired, and so
right.
that's definitely an indication of an open and healthy crown chakra.
Yes.
And like, have you ever had someone to say that your work is inspiring? And if
Yes.
not, I want to say your work is so
I
inspiring to
have people
me.
all the time that tell me that they want to take pictures of it. They want to see how they can make it.
Beautiful.
They want to,
Yes.
yeah, they want to see. I tell people all the time, good luck on that one, okay? But, um, yeah, I I
Okay.
I get that. I get that from people that I inspire them, or um can I you know that I get that from people. Can I teach them?
Yeah.
I get asked, can I teach? Can I
I was gonna ask you, as part as the wisdom question, do you plan to teach one day?
I would like to. I used to. I had one of my frenemers, because I call people who buy stuff from me my frenemers.
I
Who
love
was a
it.
Yeah, I used to work at a school a while back teaching sewing to eighth graders. I
Okay.
loved it. They lost
Yeah.
funding for the program, but I would love to do that. I would
Okay.
love to do that. I would love to on that level. But maybe when I get in my 60s, maybe.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
right now I want to do some other stuff. Like, I want to go to I was thinking about going to Nigeria and studying fashion.
I love
And
it.
yeah, I want to do some other things right now, right at this point where I'm not too old.
Yeah.
And and then my children, my youngest daughter don't need me as much anymore,
Sure.
to be
Sure.
her, to be her
Yeah.
everything.
Right. Right.
So yeah, but yeah, maybe down the line I was thinking about maybe going in. We have a few arts related schools here, and I get asked all the time. I have my customers that work in these places that ask me to
Mhm.
come
Oh,
and do stuff. So
yeah.
so I do like I've done like because I used to have my own studio at one point where I was
Oh.
teaching. Like I used to do a summer camp myself called Camp Culture. That's what I used to do, and I used to teach them sewing. I used to teach everything. I was amazed at how many black children, when I started doing that, didn't know who Malcolm X was.
Oh, yeah.
And I was amazed at that. And
Yeah.
Malcolm X, and girl, I was doing everything. Girl, I had them watching Shaka Zulu. They was taking a test on Shaka Zulu. You know how did he where did he go wrong at? You know what I'm saying? All,
Right. Right.
all kind of stuff, just culture and stuff. Cause I feel like I'm a Black Panther. You know, Black Panther. You know, in my blood, because
Yeah.
my dad was a real, you know, you know, black.
For the
I grew
people.
up with
Yeah.
black pictures and just being proud of how you look. You know,
Sure.
I came up with that. You know,
That's beautiful.
yeah, I came up with that.
That
But
is so beautiful.
yeah, so yeah, I can see how um I'm trying to think what I'm trying to say. uh,
Take
what
your
was we
time.
just talking about? I lost my train of thought.
Teaching people.
Yes. So the teaching thing is, I used to think like I had a sister in the community, another one that I know from African dance. She asked me a long time ago before she started her business, because her mom, she's from Chicago, and they do a sewing business, I think in D.C. somewhere. But she asked me if I was interested in teaching sewing at her mom's studio, and
Yeah.
that at that point at that time she asked me, I was like, oh, I don't have the patience for that.
Mm.
At this point in my life, I don't have the patience for that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think about it now, and I think that as I get older, that I would maybe want have some patience for that, and I would want to do that. That's something that I aspire to really do on a big level between 60 and 70.
Okay. Okay.
But right
I
now,
like it.
I really just want to sew, create new things, travel, and have fun. That's it right now.
And that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in closing, any words of wisdom you'd like to share with upcoming designers interested in direct and custom retail opportunities?
Well, I would definitely say that if you want to be a fashion designer, the money is not in like designing for superstars and stuff like that. There's no money in that. The money
Okay.
is in ready to wear and things that people can wear every day and something that they can wear every day. That's where the
Yes.
money is. So that's how you want to focus, and then you want to. It depends on what you want to do, because
Yeah.
I I am the one of the recipients of the Be Good grant from Beyonce, so
Okay.
I do know that they look at my things. So
Sure.
and
Wow.
maybe they could have ordered something before. I get people ordering stuff all the time that I don't know them. You know.
Sure.
So what I'm saying though is for that I wouldn't aspire to be like a designer for, like, a, a big superstar or something like that, because you can't take care of yourself like that. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? But you can if you design things that are ready to wear and something for somebody that they can wear every day. You know,
Okay.
something that they can wear every day. So
Yes.
that's what I would
Thank you.
say. And then uh, I would say also wisdom would be, it do what you love to do. You know what I'm saying? Some
Yes.
people become fashion designers and don't want to really, that's not really their passion,
Yeah. Just
you
picking
know.
up on a trend or something.
Yeah, or that's not really their passion,
Sure.
so then you have to end up waiting for a designer like me to create something that you could copy. You know what I'm saying? But when you have
Right.
passion, you can create something that you can do. So just do what your heart, if you really feel it in your heart, I would say definitely learn how to sew. Even though not sewing is not the end all for being a fashion designer, but knowing how to sew will definitely help you. So if you want to be a fashion designer, learn how to sew, and
Yes.
then that way you can really tweak. Like, if you get a big fashion house, you really know how to tweak your designs. It'll save you a whole lot of money if you know how to sew, already.
Okay.
Yeah, if you know how to sew already, you can, you might order 50 pieces, and one of them you might have to fix it or something. You know,
Sure. Sure.
know how to sew. That's what I would say. And then just with your passion, and then have integrity. you know
Yes.
that would be my words of wisdom.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Aluna, for
Yeah.
being a guest on As the Chakras Spin. It definitely was a pleasure vibing with you. For me, it was such a soulful experience. I got way more out of it than I had anticipated. I'm thinking we gonna talk about the crown chakra. We went into the third eye, and I love that, and I love what you shared in regards to your trips. They're so full and soulful. Please share with everyone your social media platforms, website, etc., in case someone would like to make a purchase or accompany you on one of your trips.
Okay, yes. So I'm on Instagram. It's gonna show you mostly everything that I do, and that's Afro Funk Wear on Instagram. But I'm on Afro Funk. I'm at Afro Funk Wear on Facebook too. So Afro
Okay.
Funk Wear, Aluna Afro Funk Wear, all of those handles are mine. So Afro Funk Wear on Instagram or Facebook, you can find me. You can, from there you can call me, message me, email me. So yeah, and
Okay.
also you can see all the things that I make, and all the things that I do and participate in.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Aluna, and thank you, audience, for tuning in to another episode as the chakras spin. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Until next time, peace.
Thank you for listening to As the Chakras Spin. You can find all episodes at TashiKDCooper.com. To learn the health of your chakras, you can schedule a chakra reading directly on my website. Until next time, peace.